Just a final question with Kiev. What would it mean for Russia to, once it's done with Kursk and it resolves that issue, what would it mean for the Russian military to move towards Kiev? I mean, is that possible? Is that what Zelensky is panicking about?
I think he's terrified of this. I think this is something that he's absolutely terrified of. As I think we discussed it in a recent program. But the fact is, we now know, because Stoltenberg and Naftali Bennett, the former NATO Secretary General, and the former Israeli Prime Minister, have both told us that Zelensky was extremely frightened in the first days of the Russian operation, the SMO, and that he fled into a bunker, and he was terrified that the Russians were going to kill him or take him prisoner or something of that kind. And he's absolutely terrified of the Russians coming back to Kiev. This is his, in my opinion, this is his big nightmare. He doesn't want to relive all that all over again. And he knows anyway that this time, there would be no escape for him. So the Russians absolutely, I mean, if, they smash through the Ukrainian forces in Kursk and battle through Sumy region, which they can, by the way, they can reach Kiev. It's the distance isn't so great. There are good roads leading from this area towards Kiev. They can do it. They did it in 2022. They can do it all over again. They will do it in far greater force. They have fleets of drones. They have electronic warfare systems. They have domination of the skies, all of which they didn't have in 2022. So yes, if it came to it, if that's what the Russians decide to do, they could be in Kursk. They could be in Kiev. And I'm going to say this, if they do that, if the Russians come to Kiev, I am not convinced that Zelensky himself or his government will stay. I think that quite plausibly this time they will retreat to Lvov. And at that point, Kiev resistance there could collapse, and then the Russians will have to decide what to do. Do they proceed to annex Kiev, which might not be something that their allies want to see? Do they try and set up an alternative government? Who would be in that government? These are questions for another day.